college football season is right around the corner, so we will be going over my standings predictions for every single conference, including the top 25 by the end of the season in my college football playoff. But first, we're starting with the ACC. In first place, Miami, 12-0, 9-0 in conference. I think it's pretty obvious to have them go undefeated this season. They will be in contention for a national championship. They're just the best team in the conference. Malachi Tony's unbelievable. He could have a Heisman season. At number 2, we have Louisville going 11-1, 9-0 in conference. And then in the conference championship, I do have Miami beating Louisville. Isaac Brown is one of my favorite under the radar, I guess you could say, running backs. At least under the radar to casual viewers. I think he could have a huge breakout year and be a top 10 running back in all of college football this season. And while Louisville, going 11-1 makes them sound like, they're going to be one of the best teams in the country, I really don't think so. I think the ACC is super weak this year in general. I wouldn't have Louisville as a top 25 team, let's say in a power ranking, but just based on their schedule and their conference, I only see them losing one game. At 3, we have Virginia, also 11-1, 8-1 in conference. They are returning 62% of their defensive players, led by Cam Robinson, who I'm a huge fan of. They're always overlooked, a super underrated team every single year. I don't think their QB play is that bad. I think they're once again going to surprise people and finish near the top of the conference. At number 4, we have Clemson going 10-2, 7-1 in conference. Classic Clemson team, plenty of talent, harder schedule in general. They could end up playing in the championship for the conference for sure. I just don't see that happening this year. At 5, we have SMU going 8-4, also 6-3 in conference. Super fun offense with Kevin Jennings. Their defense is a huge question mark, but that should at least be enough to have them finish top 5 in the ACC. At number 6, a bit of a surprise, I'm actually going Boston College, finishing 7-5 and 5-3 in the ACC. They're a super disciplined football team, and I think they'll win in the trenches. They've been producing some pretty solid offensive and defensive linemen, one of which for the Bears, Ozzie Trapillo. I just think Boston College, especially with this week of an ACC as a whole, I think they can for sure get a bowl game in here. Maybe not quite finishing 6th, but hey, I predicted every game, and that's where they ended up. At 7, we have California, also 7-5, but 5-4 in conference. Offense is good enough to win them bowl games. That's their bread and butter. Their QB is an absolute stud. They have stud tight ends, stud receivers. Defensively, I don't think it matters for this year. They should definitely find themselves in bowl contention. At number 8, we have North Carolina, 7-5, 4-4 in conference. Again, super talented team, got a bunch of transfers, but they're not really a team yet. They're just a bunch of football players put in a group. I think they're 1 year away from really hitting their potential of potentially being a top 25 team. At number 9, we have Syracuse going 6-6, finishing 4-5 in conference play. They're going to be a competitive team, but nothing special. A lot of close games, could be in bowl contention. I think they might sneak in there and get a bowl game bid. We'll see. At number 10, we have Florida State going 5-7 and 3-5 in conference. Tougher schedule than most of the teams in their league, and right now they just have a losing culture. I don't see that turning around this year. At 11, we have Virginia Tech going 4-8 and 3-6 in conference. New coaching staff, they're just in a rebuild mode right now. They won't surprise anyone. At number 12, I do have NC State. This will probably make their fans upset. Going 5-7 as well as 3-6 in the conference. I think they're just a top-heavy team, not a whole lot of depth. There's some holes that other teams can attack. The road opponents, being Virginia, Vanderbilt, and UNC, doesn't help their case either. At 13, we have Wake Forest going 6-6, but 3-6 in the conference. super easy non-conference schedule. If they do get that bowl game going 6-6, they might be the worst Power 5 bowl team this year. Honestly, I was surprised myself that they finished 6-6 in my predictions based on how bad their roster is, but hey, that's just how it turned out. At 14, we have Duke going 4-8 as well as 2-7 in conference. No Darian Mensah. A lot of transfers out. They're just not going to have success this year, unfortunately. Good thing is that their basketball team will be a top 2 or 3 team in the country yet again. At 15, we have Georgia Tech going 2-10 and 1-7 in the conference. Obviously, a tough schedule, having to play Georgia at the end of the year and losing both the Hayneses. They're in full rebuild mode right now. Definitely one of the worst teams in the ACC. At 16, we have the Pittsburgh Panthers going 4-8 as well as 1-8 in conference. There'll always be a physical team, but I think this year it's going to be another season of losing a lot of close games that could go either way. They just don't have that it factor, in my opinion. At 17, we have the Stanford Cardinals going 3-9 as well as 1-8 in conference. They're just stuck in rebuild mode, far away from their glory days with Andrew Luck and Christian McCaffrey. And I don't know when that's going to change, but I hope it happens soon. So there's my ACC predictions, and again, we'll go through every conference, my final top 25, and the college football playoff predictions for this year. But for now, that's it. So I'll see you later. Love God, love others, love yourself. Peace.